Hi, welcome back to the Carmen Marie Channel. Got a few questions for you today. I want to know, what would you do in these situations? I'm going to ask you a few questions. Tell me, think about, what kind of person are you? What would you do? And these are very, very minor things that we may not think about. Very insignificant to some people, and like, why is she talking about this? Because sometimes those little things in life can be the way you handle those small things in life may be the way that you will handle things that may be more important and more meaningful. So here we go. Here's a question for you. If you're out shopping in a grocery store, department store, you go to a certain aisle, you get the product or the item that you want, you put it in your basket, and you're browsing, you're still shopping, and you decide, well, I don't want these now. So what do? Do you just set the product down where you are, on the shelf, on the floor, or do you take it back to the place where you got it from, the correct aisle? What would you do? What have you done? And what will you do in the future? So that's a question, because that's a good question. Though sometimes if someone's looking, we might do the right thing. Depending on who we're out hanging out with, we may do the right thing. What do you do when you're hanging out by yourself? Nobody's looking. You're gonna put that product back in the correct area, or you're just gonna drop it wherever you feel like you want to drop it. And speaking of the grocery store, what would you do if you're finished shopping? Okay, you're leaving out the store. You may have a shopping cart. Do you take that shopping cart and just leave it next to the car that's parked next to you, or do you take it and put it in the shopping cart area, the little area that they have return the carts? What would you do? What have you done? What will you do? Do y'all want me to answer these questions? Well, with the grocery store, I will put it back where it belongs. I feel convicted if I don't. And I'm so afraid when I do those little things that sometimes that, like, ooh, I feel like God is just looking at me like, ooh, okay, I see you left that over there. So I try to do the right thing, but I'm not saying 100% of the time. I think today I try to do that more than I have in the past, because as we grow, we understand those little things in life. Okay, you better get those in order if you want God to give you more things and more, trust you in more situations. So that's one of the questions. Another one is, this is a good one. So I observed this, y'all. I didn't do it. I promise you, I didn't do it. And I'm not going to say man or woman, but this individual was in her car. Okay, I did say her. She was in her car. And she was just getting herself ready. Maybe she was meeting somebody, putting her lipstick on and all that. But she took everything, all the trash out of her car and dumped it on the floor. On the ground, outside. Just threw it out like it was a trash can there or something. And I'm thinking, like, wow, people live different. Everybody's, we do this stuff different. So I'm wondering, now I'm not talking about being perfect, y'all, but I am talking about being accountable for those little things in life. And especially if you have children, young children, they will imitate you. They will tell the story. They will do what you do, until they are held accountable and they have their own relationship with God, and they understand that, okay, I can't do what they're doing. Even though these may be my parents or my family members, I still need to navigate this different. I'm talking about as they get older. And if we instill that in them while they're young, they will do the right thing. But we have to do the right thing first. So here's another question. If you borrow something from someone, it could be money, it could be something you borrowed, I don't know, something you borrowed from someone. Do you return it to that person? Do you pay the money back? Or do you avoid the person and act as if it never happened? You don't even recall. Don't bring the subject up or anything. Now, that's a good question. What do y'all do? What do you do? What have you done? What will you do in the future? Now, if you don't pay back, you know you can't go back to that person again. They probably ain't gonna lend to you again. So, and if you borrow something, okay, this is another connection with that one. If you borrow something, you know, why when we borrow something and it just happened to break in our possession? That ever happened to y'all? I mean, I'm like, I'll be darned. And it breaks in your possession. Do you feel like you should pay, buy the person another, whatever you broke? Do you think you need to replace it? Or do you think it wasn't my fault? And that is why I don't borrow. I mean, I don't, some people say, you can use my car. You can use my car. Oh no, I don't use what I can't replace or I am willing to replace. So that's a good question. What's another one here? I had something here for you. Oh, here's one. So now that you do what you want in your own home, but I'm gonna ask this question anyways. So if you have used the last of whatever that is, let's say you ate the last cookie out the cookie jar, or you drank the last of the juice, what do you do with the empty carton? What do you do with the empty package? Do you just put it back? Let's say if it's juice, you put the empty carton back in the refrigerator. You put the empty packs of the packet back in the pantry, or do you throw it in the trash? Now look, y'all, some of y'all might be laughing about this because this might be a true story